Hello friends, this video on alternating currents part 25 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 24 before going ahead with part 25. We will now talk about an interesting phenomenon that happens with LC circuit. That means a circuit where we have an inductor and a capacitor connected in the same circuit. So we will see what are LC oscillations and what give rise to such oscillations. What happens is, let us suppose if you have a circuit with a capacitor and an inductor, as you can see here. The energy which is taken from the cell by this capacitor to charge itself, that energy keeps oscillating between this capacitor and this inductor. So the energy keeps oscillating between them, and these oscillations between L and C is referred as LC oscillations. So we will talk about the pattern of the oscillations in detail in the next slide. So here we will see what gives rise to this oscillation. I mean, what causes this energy to get transferred from the capacitor to the inductor, back to the capacitor, again to the inductor, and back to the capacitor, and so on. What happens is, when the capacitor is given some energy from a cell, first of all it charges itself, right? That is a general phenomenon which used to happen even in your DC circuits. Whenever you switch on the circuit, first of all the capacitor will take some charge, it will charge itself. Once it is completely charged, in case of DC current, it will not allow further current or further charge to come to it. That is, it will block the DC current. But when we are talking about AC current, I mean, forget that an inductor is connected to the circuit. If we talk only about the capacitor, what happens when we apply AC voltage to it? The capacitor will first charge itself, it will again discharge itself, it will charge itself. So it will alternately charge and discharge itself, because the alternating voltage which is being supplied to the capacitor is also changing its direction alternately, right? Now, in this case, we are connecting another inductor to this capacitor. So what happens? Initially, the capacitor takes all the energy from the cell and charges itself. So let us suppose that the capacitor is charged to some charge Q. So when the capacitor is fully charged, it starts discharging to this inductor which is connected to it. Now, as soon as this discharging happens, that is, there is some current which starts flowing through the circuit. So there is a change in magnetic flux in the circuit. You remember Faraday-Lenz law? So whenever there is a change which is taking place, so that means till now the capacitor was getting charged. Now the capacitor starts discharging. So that means the system or the circuit is experiencing a change. So because of this change in current, there would be a change in magnetic flux. Now this change in magnetic flux would be experienced by this inductor. So due to this change in magnetic flux, there will be an EMF which will be induced in this inductor. So what will be that EMF? Let us say that EMF is E. So this is the self-induced EMF in this inductor. So this EMF will be given by minus L di by dt, right? That is what we studied in self-induction. And what is this negative sign for? Remember Lenz law? Negative sign says that the self-induced EMF will try to oppose the change which produced it. So what is the change that produced it? The charging of the capacitor, the discharging of the capacitor. So that means when the current was flowing through this change in current resulted in a self-induced EMF in this inductor. So this self-induced EMF will try to oppose the growth of this current. It will not want this current to grow. As a result, what will happen? As soon as the capacitor gets completely discharged, all the energy that was stored in the capacitor earlier will now be stored in the inductor. So when the energy was stored in the capacitor, how was it stored? As we discussed in our lesson on capacitance, you remember, right? So between the plates of the capacitor, the energy is stored in the form of electric field energy. And what is that energy? That energy is nothing but half Q square by C. So this is the energy stored by the capacitor, right? Where Q is the charge on the capacitor and C is the capacitance. So when the capacitor was initially charged from the cell, it had this much of energy. So it had the total energy. Now, as soon as it started discharging, the energy of the capacitor kept decreasing and the energy stored by the inductor kept increasing. So what was the energy stored by the inductor? Remember the lesson on inductance in your magnetism chapter? There we saw that the work done by an inductor against the back EMF, the self-induced EMF or the back EMF, whatever you call it. What is the work done? That is half Li square, where I is the current induced in the inductor and L is the self-inductance of the inductor. So this is the energy stored in the inductor. So that means in this circuit, what is happening is, initially when the capacitor is fully charged, it has this much of energy. That is, the total energy is kept by the capacitor. Then the capacitor starts discharging to the inductor. Now, since the inductor experiences a change in flux, there is an induced EMF in the inductor which opposes the growth of current. Since the inductor opposes the growth of current, so it all the more supports the discharging of the capacitor. So capacitor keeps on discharging and finally the capacitor is completely discharged. So when the capacitor is completely discharged, that means there is no charge stored in the capacitor. That means there is no energy stored in the capacitor. So at that point of time, all the energy is stored by the inductor as magnetic field energy. That is, as this energy, half Li square. Now what happens when the inductor is storing all the energy? Again, this inductor will start charging the capacitor. So the capacitor will start charging again. Therefore, as soon as the capacitor starts charging up, the energy stored in the capacitor again starts increasing at the cost of the energy which was stored in the inductor. So that means this cycle keeps going continuously as long as there is some external resistance present in the circuit. Otherwise, this phenomenon will keep continuing, that the energy stored in the capacitor will get transferred to the energy stored by the inductor and vice versa and so on. So these oscillations are referred as LC oscillation. So LC oscillation is basically the oscillation of the energy taken from the cell between the capacitor and the inductor. So we can say that here basically the electric field energy and the magnetic field energy keeps oscillating. So when electric field energy is maximum, it decreases gradually and the magnetic field energy increases. Again, the magnetic field energy reaches its maximum when the electric field energy is 0. Again, it starts decreasing and increases the electric field energy, and this process continues. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.